Pasta and Politics, a chat with my daughter. Welcome back to the Passionate Palate, a podcast for food lovers and culinary explorers where we talk about various foods, flavors, and ingredients from around the world. I'm your host, Say. Today is a very special episode because I'm joined by my daughter. She's 20, a junior in college, double majoring in journalism and political science, and plans to attend law school after graduation. She's got a big appetite for both knowledge and noodles. Please welcome my beautiful Liyana Illyas.
Welcome, everyone. It's nice to be here.
Alaikum salam. It's so exciting. I'm so excited to have you, Liyana.
Me too.
Welcome to my show.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start at the very beginning. When did your love for pasta start?
Honestly, I feel like since I was born, since I couldn't even remember, pasta has always been a very, very important part of my life.
Mhm.
I always remember the one story you always tell me about how when I was in the mall and you were pushing me around in my little stroller and you would buy me pasta from, I think, Sparrows or some pasta place, and you would like feed me you'd give me a fork and I would like poke a baked like a ziti piece and like put it in my mouth. And I don't know, pasta has just always been something I've loved to eat, and it always makes me excited to this day. And yeah, and so I feel like it's just always been a very, very big part of my life.
True, and that is one very fond memory I have of you with your little curls. And we stopped for lunch, and I remember it was a plastic fork, fortunately, and you just held it, strong grip in your hand, and you just poked that. It was a ziti or penne. And then you had such a tiny mouth, and you try to put that into your mouth. And then I remember you chewing on the pasta, and you always loved pasta. I remember when you was little, when we used to go to parties, once you'd scan the table to see if there was pasta. So I know you're not as rude to the host.
I'm not a picky eater, so I'll eat anything, but obviously I do scan the table if there's pasta dish, and it does make me excited if I do see one.
Yeah. Awesome. What's the weirdest or funniest pasta related memory from your childhood? Do you remember anything?
There's one thing I can think of, but it wasn't that long ago. I would say maybe it was in the last like 5 to 6 years. I remember we were at Cheesecake Factory once, and I love pastas with, obviously, I love pastas with like a white sauce or cream sauce. So I do love carbonara pasta. Obviously, at restaurants, carbonara pasta always, is paired with bacon or some kind of meat that we can eat. And so we were at Cheesecake Factory, and I wanted to get the carbonara pasta, but without the bacon. But at the time, I think I didn't know, or maybe this was a little bit longer ago. But at the time, I don't think I knew what prosciutto was, and it said prosciutto on the menu.
And then you didn't even go through it with us; you just ordered it.
I just saw like peas and white cream sauce. I was like, okay, these are all the things that I love.
Looks so tempting.
Exactly. And so then I ordered it, and it came to the table, but it had like tiny little, and it was, by the way, Cheesecake Factory. That day it was so dark in there. So
I know.
But it was like dark little pieces of something, but I didn't think about it. And I was eating, and all of a sudden I took a bite, and I was like, this tastes like meat.
Oh my goodness.
Granted, it did taste kind of good, but then I was like, wait, I can't be eating this. So I like spit it out, and I realized there was bacon in my pasta, and I was like, oh God. And it made me upset, and I think they brought it back I can't even remember what happened next, but they brought it back, I think. And then it was still good because I love sauce pasta.
Yeah, they made the entire dish without the prosciutto.
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember as a toddler, you were very picky with your food. And except when it came to pasta. Like if I had given you pasta every single day, you would have eaten it.
I feel like that still holds true.
Still? Oh my goodness.
But again, I'm like today, I'm not picky at all. Like I will eat anything anybody gives me. I love trying every new food. Like I love all cuisine. So, but back then, yeah, and to this day, pasta will always have a special place in my heart.
Okay, good. So let's just dive a little deeper into the whole pasta thing. I'm referring to when you were a toddler, right? What was it about pasta so much compared to like, say, white rice or fried rice or any other meal that you would have that just drawed you so much to it?
I mean, well, to be quite honest, I feel like I can't remember how my thought process worked when I was that young. I just know that pasta is always just something very easy to eat, and it tastes so good with just butter and cheese. And I remember, growing up eating that, it would always bring me so much happiness and excitement. And every time it would make me like a little bit of like mac and cheese or like pasta or whatever, I would always just get excited for it. And I don't know, there was just a different level of excitement I had when it came to, eating some pasta or like just like white rice and like something else. But now I feel like I'm more excited to eat a lot of different things. But pasta, I don't know, I think it just always tasted good to me, and it was just something I always loved. Yeah.
That's sweet. Also, I've noticed when it comes to pasta, if you had to pair it with a meat, you'd love it with shrimp more than chicken or beef. Why is that?
I am heavy on the seafood with pasta over meat with pasta. I think it just tastes better. Like, I don't know, especially like a white sauce pasta with like shrimp or scallops or, lobster or whatever. That it just tastes so good compared to like Alfredo with chicken, in my opinion.
Right.
If it was like a chicken parm, it's good. If there's sausage with pasta, it's really good. But like a grilled chicken with pasta doesn't like excite me the same way like a shrimp pasta does, or pasta with seafood, or like a seafood fra diavolo or whatever. And so I don't know, it just tastes so much better. And I always like any food conversation I have, I always talk about how I prefer seafood
Shrimp
with pasta
pasta.
or shrimp with pasta over meat with pasta, even though I love meat.
I guess it's the flavor. There's something about shrimp,
Yeah.
right? That enhances like the sauce. It's hard to describe it.
It just tastes so good paired with pasta. I don't know.
So what's your favorite pasta shape? Do you have one?
I definitely have one, but I definitely know which one I don't like, and I would say the ones that are long. So like spaghetti or linguine. I don't know. I think it tastes good, but
Right.
I prefer biteable pasta where I can just
Like the
eat
al
my
dente,
fork,
like the bite.
al dente, a bite. You can get a couple pieces in there. It tastes really good. I feel like in recent years, my favorite pasta shape has become rigatoni, and I don't know, it just tastes good the way the sauce goes in it, and the way it just tastes good when you put even again just butter and cheese in it. It tastes really good. I do love a classic penne. I feel like it gets hated on. I remember seeing a video the other day that was like, penne's not good. Why do people like it? But
Really?
in my mind, I'm like, it's such a good, like, versatile
It
pasta shape. It
is.
goes literally anything.
And it absorbs the sauces too.
Exactly. So that too. What else? I think elbows are nice too.
But don't you think that elbows are like, I don't know, like maybe when you have a macaroni salad or mac and cheese?
For sure. It's not, elbows definitely aren't my go-to pasta shape. So for that, I would definitely say rigatoni and penne. And I feel like there's one I'm forgetting, but I don't know. There's so many pasta shapes, and I don't know.
So let's shift gears a little now. I know you are a huge ramen fan, right?
Yeah.
Now, I know the funny thing is when it comes to pasta, you're not crazy about the noodles and the spaghetti side of it. But when it comes to ramen, I know you are obsessed with ramen noodles. So tell me a little about that. Do you remember when you first started eating ramen noodles?
Yes, actually, I do. Now that you mention it, ramen. Though my favorite pasta shape isn't like the ramen type of pasta shape. For some reason, I love when it's in ramen or when there's a broth or when there's, you put other things in it. And one of my first kind of early memories with ramen is eating the Maruchan shrimp flavor ramen, because you would make that for us growing up. I remember, coming home from like elementary school or whatever, or whether it be on a snowy day or, rainy day, sometimes you would make it, and the broth with the shrimp flavor, it was just so good and so comforting. And I think that sparked my love for ramen, because I was like, this is really good. And kind of like pasta, but in soup form. But it's not like chicken noodle soup. It's like more interesting, more flavorful. That Maruchan like shrimp flavor, I remember didn't have any like chicken broth or anything. Sodium levels are kind of off the roof. But like it tastes so good. I think I recently had it, and it just every time I taste that broth, it reminds me of being in our old house, eating it, and having you make it for us, and my brothers and I watching like the old Cartoon Network shows or whatever. And it's just, it's very nostalgic to eat that. But I think that kind of sparked my love for ramen at the very beginning, and I just love eating ramen, and
And it has advanced since then.
Very much so advanced. And I think even the shape and the kind of thickness of the noodle, because spaghetti and linguine are a little bit thinner, but when you eat like the Maruchan ramen noodles, I'm sure like listeners,
it's like the skinnier.
it's no, like the Maruchan and even like some of the other brands that I indulge in, like it has like thicker noodles, and I love that. And so I've always been like a thick noodle person.
Like the udon. You love your udon noodles.
Love udon, love pad see ew, like love thick rice noodles, like all that stuff. And I feel like ramen has thicker noodles. I will say, like when ramen does have thinner noodles, I'm not the biggest fan, because I don't like thick. But if it has like a thicker noodle or like kind of like that curliness.
Awesome. What's your ultimate ramen combo?
Combo in the sense of like
what would you like? Like, do you like it? I know you prefer it with beef broth or chicken broth. And what do you like on it?
Okay, well,
like, would you like chicken or beef on it? Shrimp?
I feel like there's two kinds that I kind of lean towards in terms of a combo. First is a brothier ramen. I love any flavor broth. It could be chicken, it could be shrimp, but as long as there's some type of flavor in it, if it's a brothier ramen or like that's like that kind of type of ramen, it's so good. And then paired with, little fish cake, some dumplings, shrimp dumplings in there, a like a boily egg, like a runny egg, a boiled runny egg, so good. Some green onions on there, obviously. What else? And like some type of protein. Again, preferably shrimp.
Mhm.
Chicken, I feel like doesn't really go well in ramen. Like if it's like a boiled chicken piece, I'm not the
Mhm.
biggest fan of that. And then the second type would be a dry type of ramen. So not something in a soup or in like a soup, like very, very, basically something that's not a soup.
Right.
But that has like a sauce to it and that has a lot of flavor and it's like still thick in the sense of like the sauce that it's in, but it's not in a broth or in a soup. And so those are that with that paired with like again dumplings or like a runny boiled egg, any of that. Those I think would say are my favorite, my go-to.
So do you cook pastas and ramen in your dorm?
Oh yeah, like when I'm living in college, like I love making pasta and ramen for my friends. I love
Yeah.
having my friends make it for me.
Now, have your friends who you've made it to, have they tried it before? Have they
Yeah.
not been into it? Or are they like you, like they are diehard ramen fans?
Well, I think some of my friends have been like, oh, because some of the ramen I've made, it's kind of like it's the brands that like are either too spicy or like they don't.
Right.
And I feel like I have a certain way of making it that it just tastes so good. And so some of them have been like, oh, this tastes really good. Like, oh my gosh. Or
Because
some
you
have,
kind of customize it?
exactly. Or some
Okay.
have already tried it. And then when I make it, they're like excited or they also like
Mm.
ramen too. So I say like, in terms of ramen, my friends are kind of a mix, but when it comes to pasta, I feel like a lot of my friends do like pasta. Definitely not as much as me.
You're just claiming that.
Oh yeah.
I also remember once when I called you, you were like, tonight the girls and I, we're doing pasta night or we're doing ramen night. So that's kind of cool that you said, and then that's like, do you go to somebody else's dorm or do they come to yours and do you all cook together or are you like the main person hosting it?
No, so it's kind of a mix. So like when I was my friends and I would have like pasta nights, but I would usually not be the one to make it because I didn't have a
Really?
kitchen in my dorm,
Right.
or like I just didn't have the ingredients and they
Hmm.
would just make it for me, and it was
Okay.
fun and I still enjoyed it. But I loved like pasta nights and then watching movies or Netflix or whatever. And then this past year, I did live in a dorm with a kitchen, so I did make ramen sometimes for my friends. I would make pasta a lot for myself, but then when I'd have ramen nights with my friends, it would be at their place and I would also help bring some ingredients, but then I would also make it at their place or like sometimes they would make something too. And it's just like a mixture, but it's just so fun to have it because it's like two of my favorite things, bonding with people I love and then also eating such good food, my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
That's so awesome. What's your favorite comfort food when you're stressed with schoolwork? It doesn't have to be pasta, unless it is, knowing you.
Well, I have a like billion different comfort foods. I feel like I really just love food. Like we're a foodie family, as you
Yeah,
can
for
tell.
sure.
And so I feel like I've been exposed to so many different foods and I just love a lot. But when I'm stressed with school, I would say my go-to, because of how quick and easy it
Mhm.
is, would be two things. And I'll say two things in the realm of pasta and ramen. But one is definitely mac and cheese. It's a very quick, easy
Mhm.
meal to have and very comforting. It's definitely been something I've had multiple memories of making in my dorm when I just like want to just eat something quick that's pasta, but like not go through the hassle of waiting so long for regular pasta to boil or whatever.
Mhm.
And then the second would be my carbonara buldak ramen. Also so easy to make, but so delicious. And I feel like I've eaten it enough to the point where my spice tolerance is definitely built up. Like I have friends that are like, "How do you eat this? It's so spicy," or they can't even handle the spice. And I used to be that way too. But
Yep, I remember.
unfortunately, I think I got to a point where now it just doesn't hit me and it tastes more like flavorful and like delicious than it does spicy, which is a good thing and also a bad thing.
Yeah.
But that's definitely something that was like a comfort food of mine when I was stressed or like just wanted something nice to eat. And then I guess overall, when I'm like home or like not even me making it, but just like a comfort food when I'm wanting something comforting,
Mhm.
or I guess when I'm stressed or whatever, definitely chicken nuggets and fries. That's a
Mhm.
classic with like a little dipping sauce.
Yeah.
I love chicken wings. You know that chicken wings of any kind.
Talking about the spice tolerance, right?
Mm.
I remember growing up, I used to make you guys chicken curry. And I remember
Mm.
sometimes you're like, Mom, it's so spicy. This chicken
Yeah.
curry is so spicy. And now I've noticed you don't find that anymore because I think the spice level of the ramen noodles have taken over. And like even sometimes, like even for example, right, we have the Nashville hot chicken sandwiches, right? I go for the mild because my spice tolerance, it's not, I mean, it's very mild. I prefer to stick to the mild, and you would go either medium and you would go like a few notches higher. And I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, this is the same little girl that found like a chicken curry spicy. But now I think your palate has been like seasoned with the spice due to the ramen.
Because I remember years ago being like, oh my god, this chicken curry is so spicy. But now everything you make, I feel like I don't find that spicy, and I feel like it's just again more flavorful and
Right.
tasty. Even when we go to like Indian restaurants that like growing up we would go to, I'd find things spicy, but now I don't, and I just find it really tasty. And then even at like the hot chicken place restaurants and where we could get like hot chicken, whenever I love going to Dave's. Dave's is my favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always get like the medium. I've sometimes ventured out into the hot. There's this one instance when I was in the library with some of my friends and somebody had, and
Wait, they
like
can bring it into the library?
Yeah, you can bring food into
the library. Wow, okay. That's a cool library.
And so there was like he had hot Dave's and he let us try some. And one of my friends was like, oh, it's so hot. It's so hot. And I was just like, taste. It's like, I'm like, what are you talking about? But it's so funny. My goodness. I feel like it's just very silly. Yeah. But it was funny because then I realized I was like, wait, I can take the Dave's hot too, because typically I only go to the medium. Right. The hot is not even that hot. So I don't know. Maybe my spice tolerance has really built up.
Wow. And then talking about mac and cheese, do you have a favorite brand?
Annie's for sure. I love Annie's. My aunt introduced it to me back in 2019 when I was a freshman in high school. Right. And she had it at her house. That
was the first time because I always buy the craft.
Yeah. So it was my first time trying something different. And I think I finally realized, wait, there's other brands besides craft.
That's all you had growing up.
But Annie's has like different flavors and different cheese like variations. And I think she had the one that's something different.
White cheddar?
No, it was 4 cheese. Yeah, 4 cheese mac and cheese. And I was like, I love cheese. So I'm like, wait, this is great. And so she let me make it for her. And I put some cheese, I put a little bit of pepper in it. And then I was eating it and then I was just like, this is so good. And from there, I would buy a lot of Annie's. And then COVID happened. And when we were home, sometimes I would make Annie's. So I honestly love Annie's. Craft is good, but Annie's for sure is my favorite. All right. If it's not homemade.
If you can create your dream pasta dish and name it after yourself, what would it be?
So it would be called Liyana's Pasta.
Okay.
The reason it would be such an unoriginal name is because I think I don't know why this just came into my mind, because when you said if it's like your own, one of my favorite Disney princess movie, but one of my favorite movies growing up is The Princess and the Frog. Right. And in the movie, she's just one of my favorite princesses, Tiana. Aww. She is trying to open up her own restaurant, and she calls it Tiana's Place. I remember I had a birthday party when I was in 5th grade, not 5th grade, kindergarten. It was Princess and the Frog after that.
And you dressed like Princess Tiana?
And I dressed like Princess Tiana, and I had her green dress, that green is still one of my favorite colors to this day. And I remember you made like a flyer or something with the Liyana's Place on it. And so if I were to have like a place called Liyana's Place, the pasta would be called Liyana's Pasta, because what else would it be called?
That's so original.
Yeah, I know. It's not original, but it has an original,
yes, I know.
But so the pasta would consist of like rigatoni or penne pasta with like this light white cream garlicky cheesy sauce. Not too thick like an Alfredo, but not too thin where you can't taste it. Right. Kind of just like a perfect middle of like a delicious white sauce. Definitely lots and lots and lots of cheese, Parmesan cheese, grilled shrimp with like a little bit of a char, and that kind of like flavors the rest of the pasta. And I'm trying to think of what else there would be, but that would literally be my perfect pasta. You wouldn't have any sort of veggies or herbs in it? Yeah. I hate when people put peas in pasta, honestly. Like, I just don't like it. I love veggies, but not in my pasta. Right. So I have this cute and funny story about Liyana and veggies. So I just noticed it, I think a few years ago, because when you were little and we used to have like rice and curries, you would eat all your veggies. But when it came to noodles and pastas, I would just happen to, like, I've cooked something or we had a restaurant and we enjoy something, and I just happened to glance over at Liyana's plate. She has finely, meticulously sorted all the veggies in one corner of her plate, and she'll just down the pasta. So now it makes sense why you don't want any veggies in your pasta. You love veggies, but not just in your pasta or your noodles. Yeah, and like the only noodle that I'll like veggies in is a good pad see ew, specifically. Oh yeah, because those veggies are really good. Otherwise, in like a pasta dish with like a white sauce, don't want it. Yeah, not even peas? No, I can have a salad on the side, but I won't have the veggies cooked into the pasta. Makes sense. All right. So now, as a political science student, how do you think food interacts with politics? Whoa. Intense. Well, if you want to get a little bit deeper into thinking about the intersection of food and politics, I would say obviously food is a very, very important thing in our society, and it should be something that's readily available to everybody. And that everyone has easy access to. But
Absolutely.
unfortunately, that's not the case. And there are a lot of people in poverty and, without access to, fresh, clean food or just, supplies that they can get to just make food. And so I think using food as one of a more common thing that we kind of take for granted today,
Yeah.
and we have such good access to food, you can use that and think about it in a way that's like, how can, we help people in society and other people that are,
Right.
in a position that's a little bit tougher
Mm-hmm.
than us, or, less privileged than we are. And it can get deeper into that sense, and thinking about the ways we can help others and, sustain them and, understanding that, we're very lucky to be able to have these kinds of conversations and to be, have tried so many different
Right.
foods and to say, oh, I've tried this and I tried that and I
Mm-hmm.
love this and I prefer this to that, where some people don't have that
Right.
opportunity. And, it makes you think about the way the economy is and the way, there's so many people out there that we could be helping, but, attention is being diverted elsewhere when it shouldn't be.
Right.
Not to get into things too much, but just to keep that as like the surface level of it. It's something that we can use as kind of a lens into broader society and how flawed things are and how problems need to get fixed.
Well, right. It's sad. It's a sad truth.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you had to host a political dinner party, what would you serve?
Political dinner party. Okay, I would serve a pineapple on pizza because that's very quite political. So I would serve that because that's definitely something that's controversial, but I love it,
Right,
so I would
right.
serve it. I would obviously serve Liyana's pasta there.
Mm.
I would have. I would have, if it's at a political dinner, I would have probably things that are so complex, like a nice Sri Lankan meal with curry butt, egg curry,
Mhm.
beef curry, and all the goods, and then
Very
simple stuff
interesting.
like chicken nuggets and fries.
Okay, do you think food journalism gets enough credit as real journalism?
Honestly, no. And I feel like food journalism is so important. I never realized kind of its presence and its existence until I got to college and got
Right.
immersed in my student newspapers, because I've served as an editor on these papers and have really been behind the scenes of a lot of this stuff.
Right.
Though I am someone who usually covers news and, breaking news and campus, happenings and things like that.
Mhm.
There are, my school paper has a section about food and nutrition.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
it's very, very interesting because I have never been exposed to that.
Mhm.
But I know a couple individuals that are very, very passionate about food journalism, and I really admire them for it. And when I read their articles, I'm like, this is so interesting because I never thought it could have such a, importance in a field that I
Right.
love. I've always kind of equated, growing up, I've mostly equated journalism to news and
Right.
and helping out other people and advocating for underrepresented groups.
Not exactly
But
as for food.
right, but it can definitely be. I mean,
Mhm.
this is a form of food journalism.
Of
It's a
course.
podcast. It's talking
Yeah.
about food. I have some people that I know that write articles and work for the beats that are relating to food journalism. And I think it's
Interesting.
so cool. Definitely would be something that I'm interested in, exploring, maybe writing a little bit in when it comes to things I'm
Nice.
passionate about with
Mhm.
food, especially when it comes to like halal meat or accessibility to, the kinds of foods for Muslim people. You can kind of find intersections, I feel like, with a lot of different things. So you can find that intersection of helping out other people and advocating for minorities, but with food journalism. Like, how can we make
Right.
things more accessible to other people?
Mhm.
So I think it's such a cool beat and such a cool thing. But yeah,
That's a great answer. You're right. What's your take on food influencers versus real food critics?
well, I think in this day and age, TikTok is very, very, it has good and bad things to it. But I think in terms of the food influencers, it's very helpful for a lot of people in terms
Mhm.
of accessibility and
Right.
very relatable content. You see people that are trying different restaurants and you're like, oh, what kind of dish do they have or how does it taste or whatever. But then food critics might be looking at different things. They're not looking
Exactly.
at atmosphere of the place. They're not looking
Right.
at, the certain types of dishes they have. They're looking more into like the quality of it. Or they're
Mhm.
not looking at, can you come here with your friends and,
Right.
your family and, have a good time in terms of pricing. They're looking at, the other side of things. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how specific food critics look into things, but I know it's very obviously different from food influencers.
Yeah.
They have a little bit, I can't even say that food critics have more credibility than food influencers because I feel like they have credibility in their own way.
Mhm.
Like food influencers have a different sense of relatability to our generation and people that are wanting something quick and or in the new area and are like, okay, what's the things that are around? And I think it's great that we have those kinds of things.
Mhm.
So in that sense, they're definitely credible. And when you go to those places, you can try it for yourself and you're like, oh, I was referred to by XYZ. But then when it's a food critic, they're not like hey, come to this place, like look at this new dish that just came out. They're, critiquing it for, I think, a bigger purpose or maybe a different purpose.
Right.
But and then in that sense, they're credible when it comes to maybe ratings of restaurants or how restaurants operate or whatever.
Right.
And so I think both are pretty useful and have their own purpose, but in different ways.
Yeah, that's a great answer, Liyana. And I think you're right. It's like two different perspectives.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So we're going to do a rapid fire round.
Okay.
And we're going to do a boil or burn. Boil is if it's a hit, burn if it's a miss.
Okay.
Ready? Okay. Mac and cheese with ketchup. Boil or burn?
Can you explain them too?
Sorry?
Can we quick explain, or is it just rapid fire?
You can explain it.
Okay, ketchup and mac and cheese is a little much. Ketchup is too sour, mac and cheese is too cheesy. We have family members that do eat ketchup with
ketchup with everything.
Ketchup with everything. And I think then to each his own, but boil for me.
Oh.
Or burn.
Burn. You don't like ketchup?
Wait, then a burn.
Say it's a burn. Pineapple in pasta. Boil or burn?
Whoa, I've never tried that. But again, I'm someone who loves trying new food, so I would be down to try it. So boil for me. Let's just see how it tastes.
Instant ramen with an egg. Boil or burn?
Boil.
Of course. Yep. All right. Okay. Here's an interesting one. Alfredo sauce from a jar. Boil or burn?
I feel like I have mixed opinions on that because I've seen some disgusting Alfredo, and I've tasted some disgusting Alfredo sauce from jars. But I feel like if you find a good brand and you cook it a certain way, it can taste good.
So is it a boil or a burn?
For the sense that for the fact that I love fresh homemade Alfredo sauce, let's just go with burn.
Okay. Eating pasta with a spoon, boil or burn?
Burn. I hate when people eat pasta spoon. I hate when restaurants or diners give dishes with pasta and they put a spoon in it, and I always am like, can I get a fork instead?
Wait, I have always seen them giving you a fork and a spoon.
No,
like, you know how you're supposed to hold the spoon and the spaghetti?
They give a spoon in it. Like every mac and cheese I've ordered at a place or a pasta, they put a spoon in it. And I know some people can make the argument like, oh, you can scoop it. And
exactly. Maybe it's for sharing.
No. When I make a pasta dish, it's for me, and I'm going to use a fork to prick it and like get the amount of pieces that I want. Again, this is very when you're not eating spaghetti or linguine, so you take the prick the pasta, get the bite that you want. Yeah, no.
So it's a strong burn.
Absolutely.
Pasta salad at a barbecue, yay or nay?
I have mixed opinions on pasta salad.
No, come on, seriously? Yeah. I thought it's going to be a hard boil for you.
To be completely honest, I'm not the biggest fan of pasta salad. Like I'll eat it, but it's not something I'm that excited for when it comes to pasta.
But it depends, though. There are creamy pasta salads, and there are like the ones with like a dressing pasta salad.
Right, but either way, I'm never craving them, and I'm never excited to eat them. I'm kind of just like when I see it, I'm like, I'll have it. I'll have some. It pairs well with the barbecue stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not like, ooh, like I'm gonna keep serving this. Ooh, it's so good. But I wouldn't say burn. I would say boil, because I think it makes...
No, that was a yay or a nay.
Oh, it was a yay or nay?
Yes.
I would say yay, because I think it's not bad, but it's not something it's strong enough for me to say nay to, because again, it is pasta at the end of the day. But it's a different level of pasta, and cold pasta.
See, that's true.
That's the problem. And so I would still say boil because it pairs well with the other things, but if it's by itself, nay or burn.
Okay. All right. Ramen for breakfast, boil or burn?
Boil. I would honestly do it every day if I could, if it wasn't unhealthy, and if,
But what if it was fresh? Not that I'm going to do it, so don't get any ideas when you're home for the summer. Because you have to make the broth from scratch. That takes a while.
Well, I say boil.
No, I'm talking about healthy versions.
Yeah, I'd say boil either way, because ramen is ramen, and I love ramen, and if I can have it for breakfast, 100% give it to me for breakfast. I'm not a huge breakfast foods fan.
Yep, I know that.
I really like, crepes or like shakshuka, or like very few things that I like for breakfast.
Right.
And so if you're giving me ramen for breakfast, one of my favorite foods, of course I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Shrimp on pizza, acceptable or arrestable?
I would say acceptable, because I love shrimp. Not the biggest fan of pizza, actually. I'm not the hugest pizza fan, but I love shrimp, and I think it would taste really good on pizza. That would be a good pairing. It can't be like super lit. I don't know. I think I would say acceptable.
Sometimes, we're having this whole pasta conversation, and sometimes I wonder if your love for pasta has anything to do with your name. Because your name, Liyana, is an Arabic. And in Arabic, Liyana means softness, tenderness. And I know that when you started preschool and kindergarten, the name Liyana is also pronounced Liana. It sounds very Italian.
And a lot of Italians do have that name, actually.
Right, they do.
People tell me, oh, that's my mother's name. Oh, I know
exactly.
Liana.
And I had no idea when I named you Liana. So I don't know whether that has something to do with like that natural, like, ooh, I feel like I'm Italian and I just have to love my pastas.
I mean, it could. I did used
You
to think
never
I was
know.
Italian, or I did used to want to be Italian, and I was very young.
Yes, you
So
were.
it could have a connection possibly, but now definitely not.
Absolutely. All right. What food trends do you think are overrated right now?
There's this food trend that I've seen on TikTok with like that girl that has like the plate of like veggies and stuff for her snacks, and then she's like
The
hearts
what?
of palm, like veggies.
Okay.
She's like hearts of palm on there, and like everyone's trying it and dipping it in like mustard or in cottage cheese. And I haven't tried it, but I think that's kind of overrated because I feel like I've seen so many people do it.
But is it like what, like a health thing? Like
Yeah.
a diet?
Well, not. I don't know if it's a diet. I think this individual genuinely enjoys eating that plate of dry veggies, which I think is cool. It's great. Maybe I'll try it one day, but overrated for me. Obviously, I feel like we can't go past and not discuss the Dubai chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Is it overrated? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely overrated. Is
Absolutely.
it delicious and really good?
Absolutely.
Also, yes. Like, I love Dubai chocolate. I don't care if it's overrated. That is one overrated food trend that I will stand by, and I think it's so good.
Me too.
Because Dubai chocolate brownies, my mom has made like literally homemade Dubai chocolate, so good, so delicious. Dubai chocolate crepes I've had, delicious. Dubai chocolate,
Strawberry cup?
strawberry cup, really good, so good. So I think it's overrated, but in a good way. I think sometimes it's getting a little bit out of hand. And I think that's the fault of people and not the trend itself.
People want to try it on everything. Have you seen or heard about the Dubai chocolate filling they're putting on burgers?
Okay, see, that's disgusting. But Dubai chocolate is still really good. See, that's what I'm saying. The problem comes down to the people themselves trying to think of some crazy stuff to make money. The trend itself isn't the problem. If you just keep Dubai chocolate in the realm of where it should stay, then it's not a problem. Like Dubai chocolate shakes or whatever.
Yeah. What food or dish do you wish more people knew about?
That I wish more people knew about.
Like some sort of like a hidden gem kind of dish.
I would say, okay, this is a very popular restaurant, Top 10 New York City. I'm sure a lot of people have been there, especially Muslims, because it's halal.
It's one of our favorites.
It's one of our favorites. It's one of my top like favorite restaurants in the entire world. It's in my favorite city ever. Like, I don't know, it's so delicious. But I would say the pad see ew is very popular. So I would say but I feel like it's also underrated at the same time. Pad see ew with chicken or shrimp or whatever, that is so delicious there. It's so good. I love a good white rice noodle, and it's just like delicious and it tastes good. But one dish there that is very underrated that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about and that you guys also don't know.
Really?
Because I've tried this like in the recent months.
Okay.
The basil udon there.
Really?
It is so good. It is so spicy, so delicious. It's like the udon is so good. The first time I tried it is when my friend and I went out and she had brought some friends from home, or like that she had met when she was a child to New York because they were visiting. And so all of us went out to Top Thai and we ordered a basil udon.
Is it like for the table or you just want to try something yourself different?
We got 2 noodle dishes and a rice to share for the table. And so I tried a little bit of the basil udon because we ordered it. And I always get the pad see ew when I go to Top Thai because that's just the thing that I get. And I never want to branch out, but I really wanted to try different things. Different. I feel like I'm going there all the time and I'm never exploring all the other delicious things they offer. Because one time I did go out of that ramen and try to explore something else and I didn't like it. It was their tom yum soup and I'm not the biggest fan of tom yum and I really didn't like it. It turned me off actually a little bit. So I'm like, I'll just stick to eating the pad see ew. But I tried that basil udon and that was I've been ordering that since I've been there, like instead of the pad see ew, which is so unlike me, but that just goes to show how good it is. And when we go next, I gotta try that for sure. It's so good. It's spicy. It's delicious. The chicken in it, it's so flavorful because of the sauce that they use. So underrated. I think the basil udon is really great. And then one more underrated dish or food, I think, would be Sri Lankan food. So underrated. People don't talk enough about it. People don't know enough about it. Absolutely. Everyone's talking about Indian food. Everyone's talking about, Asian food, Chinese food, American food, whatever. Nobody's talking about Sri Lankan food. And I think it's just not that common, but it's so underrated and it's so good. And every time I eat it, I'm always telling my friends, like, you have to try it. Like, my mom's going to make you some. Like, don't worry. And every time some of my friends in the past have learned some. And every time some of my friends have come over and tried their food, they loved the Sri Lankan food. It's so good. Like a good curry butt meal with, our Eid breakfast, with the beef curry, the chicken curry, egg curry, the post sample, everything. So good, so underrated. And just Sri Lankan food in general, like hoppers and kotolati. There's such a variety. It's endless. Fish and egg rolls, the shorties, so good, so underrated. So that's, I think, more underrated than everything.
Awesome. If journalism and politics didn't work out, would you ever consider a career in food media?
Whoa. I think that's really a very interesting question. And honestly, I would. I think it's become so interesting to see, you do everything with the food and seeing all the food influencers and even seeing my sister-in-law, Samay, like her doing her little videos or whatever. Obviously, it's very interesting. And cooking and, making stuff is something I am interested in and I do it kind of in my free time. So I think my interests didn't, I feel like I have a lot of interests, but if my main interest in terms of career didn't line there. I would definitely dabble in a little bit of, food media and looking into that
Nice.
stuff. I think it's great. But if I wasn't doing journalism or politics, I'd probably be a singer because I love music and I love singing.
Nice. What's your favorite? I know you talked about curry bath and then the eat breakfast meal, but
Yeah.
what's, if you had to pick one, what's your favorite Sri Lankan dish?
That's a hard one, but if I guess are gonna have to exclude curry bath because you're telling me to not include curry bath. I love
Mm-hmm.
eating curry bath, which is like obviously if you watched the episodes before the milk rice. But I would say hoppers. I love
I
hoppers.
know, because I was thinking about
Egg
hoppers. I was
specific.
wondering if you talk about it.
Yes, and I am because it's one of my favorite Sri Lankan
Mhm.
dishes. Egg hoppers and double shrimp. So good. Such a
Oh.
good combo together. Double shrimp is just one of the that one's so delicious with the head on it too. That Sri Lanka has. It does this little thing, has that delicious double shrimp. And the egg hoppers are so good. I don't know, I just love it. But that's something I love. I'm not the biggest fan of other things like kottu roti and stuff,
Mhm.
but I love egg hoppers.
And in the egg hoppers, do you like it well cooked over hard like me, or do you like it runny?
I like it runny because you can dip other
Mhm.
things into it. It tastes so good. I'm also not a huge egg person, so if I'm gonna eat an egg, the yolk cannot be dry. It has to, or if it's a boiled egg, I'll usually not eat the yolk. But if it's a fried egg, I want the yolk to be runny.
Okay, got it. So we already talked about this. So I don't know if this is still going to be the answer to my next question I have for you. What's your favorite restaurant in New Jersey, in New York, and what are the dishes from there?
New Jersey. Okay, I feel like I have a couple in New Jersey, but honestly, I feel like we've been to a lot of places,
Mhm.
so it's very hard to narrow it down because I love a lot of places. But I'll give a couple. Some of my favorite places in New Jersey to eat include Sheshwan Murchi in Jersey City. Such good Hakka Chinese, Indo Chinese type of food. I love that kind of stuff, and I love the chicken. What is it called? The chicken cream of chicken corn soup.
Corn soup.
I love the chicken corn soup there. I love the butter garlic chicken noodles.
Mhm.
I love the chicken lollipops.
Yeah.
Love the chili fries. So good. Everything there is delicious. So I love that restaurant. It's one of my favorites in Jersey City. I do love eating at Saptagiri. That's a very good Indian restaurant that I do like. It's definitely one of my favorites in New Jersey. In terms of Italian food, Stella's in Ridgewood, so good. They
Yeah.
make fresh homemade pasta. I love going there. I've only been there twice, and I want to go so much more, because it's so good. And their pasta is like they make it in house, and it's just so good. So Stella's in Ridgewood, and obviously Dave's, but that's like everywhere. So Dave's
Yeah.
hot chicken, so good. Honestly, it's so hard because I feel like I want to keep going in New Jersey. Like I don't even want to leave Jersey yet because I'm still trying to name.
It's so hard to stick to one.
It's so hard to stick to one. Like the lamb chops at Muzza in Parsippany, like Hiawatha, so good.
My goodness.
I love a lot of food, so it's very hard to narrow it down. But for the sake of time,
Listening to you right now, you are my daughter. You are a foodie's daughter.
yeah, definitely. I mean, when you're raised a foodie, how can you not?
I know.
And then New York, Top Thai is my favorite. Top Thai vintage, specifically the basil udon or the pad see ew. And the dumplings too, and the zab wings, so good. It has like a little bit of
It has a crust, right? It's like a crust, and it has like a seasoning on. So good.
That's really good there. And I also like rasa in New York City because it's also really good Malaysian
food.
Oh, okay. Butter burger on McDougal Street, right by my campus. So good. It's delicious. My friends and I always go there. We get the truffle fries and we get the burger. The chicken burger is good there. Their smash burger is good there. They have a different monthly special every month, and it's always so delicious. Butter burger is one of my favorites. So good.
Wow.
And then Kachi Roll NYC, so good. Love Kachi.
That's like a whole bunch of restaurants. My goodness.
Because I can't pick just one. Like
I know
it's
it is hard.
Too. So there's so many good foods out there. I just want to say all on it. I love giving food recs to people as well.
Right.
So I'll always be like, hey, try this, try that. And I'm also always looking for good food recs too. But Kachi Roll in New York City is really good. Their chicken momos are good, and their under chicken roll with paratha is really good. Not roti. You have to get it with the paratha to make it better.
Okay.
And yeah, I think I've tried a lot of places, but I feel like those would be my tops just for now.
Have you ever been interested in a dessert pasta or pasta with dessert?
That doesn't sound that appetizing.
Like, have you heard of the chocolate lasagna?
I have heard of that.
Have you tried it?
No, I haven't tried it. Would I try it? Yeah, because again, I love trying new things. But it's not something I'm like, ooh, that sounds so good. Let's go try it. It's kind of just
right.
Questionable. So let me try it to test it out. But no, I'm not usually thinking about like dessert pasta.
Have you ever done or have you ever wanted to make pasta from scratch?
Yes. Oh my God, the amount of videos I see on TikTok where they put like the eggs in the center of the flour and then they fold it in and then they keep doing it to the point that it gets like a yellow dough and they put it through the machine and it like
Yeah.
goes through and it goes like down nice and smooth and then they like use like the thing and make it so good. I've always wanted to make it from scratch. I'm surprised we actually have it yet.
You know what? This just gives me an idea. Why don't we take a pasta making class?
We should.
We should do that.
Because fresh pasta always tastes.
Oh, I'm sure. I know. We went to one restaurant years ago.
Yeah, in probably Little Italy, I think.
Yeah, somewhere in Little Italy. Oh, was it something with a J? It was with a J, and I remember they had fresh pasta, and then you see them making it right at the entrance. We should look into doing a class.
I would love
because
to do
that pasta tasted incredible, like the bite, freshness.
Even at Stella's in Ridgewood, you have to go try it. It's so
Gotta
good. It's fresh pasta is so good, and I would love to. I would love to make it. I'm honestly really shocked I haven't yet. But yeah, I love the concept. I love the idea. I love seeing videos of it, and I would totally love to do it.
Liyana, I enjoyed this time with you. I know you have been super busy this summer with working, interning, and all the little projects you have lined up. Thank you so much for finding time to be on my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Fun. My pleasure. Is there anything you'd like to tell our listeners?
Always stay curious with your palate. Don't limit yourself to one type of food or one type of dish or cuisine. You know, there are so many good foods out there, so many different things to try, and there's no point in just being boring. You gotta explore and try some new things out.
Be daring. Test your spice level skills.
Don't be scared. Maybe you'll try something and it'll become one of your favorite foods in the entire world, but you would never know unless you try it. Absolutely.
So thank you again for being on my show. It was a really fun and very special and memorable episode because we were also reminiscing your childhood. I want to thank you guys so much for being here, for watching, for listening. And if you have any questions for Liyana or me, please drop them in the comments. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at The Passionate Palate. And stay tuned for more fun and flavorful conversations like this one. And always remember, don't count the calories, count the delicious memories.